All right, today we're going to dive into something incredibly important. It's a powerful plea, really, from a student who's speaking for millions of others about these recent and, let's be honest, deeply troubling exam controversies. And this isn't just about test scores, not at all. It's about the very foundation of what we believe in: merit, hard work, and trust in the system itself. So let's get right into it. Wow. I mean, right from the jump, you can feel the weight of this. The plea frames this whole situation not as some, bureaucratic hiccup or a small mistake. No, it's called a direct and violent assault, a personal attack on the students and their families. That kind of opening, it just sets this incredibly urgent and serious tone for everything else we're about to cover. Okay, so Section 1, a student's plea. And this is a really important point to get. We're not hearing from some distant politician or a policy expert in an ivory tower. No, the voice behind this plea is a student, someone who is right there in the thick of it, speaking for an entire generation that feels like their future is literally on the line. And that's the whole point, right? The plea is designed to make this deeply personal. It's not about statistics on a page. It's telling a story of shattered dreams. It's about the incredible psychological pressure these kids are under and the very real consequences for millions who've spent years of their lives getting ready for these exams. All right, let's move into Section 2, the numbers in question. Because look, this plea isn't just an emotional appeal. Not by a long shot. It's actually backed up by some very specific and frankly pretty alarming data. When you look at the numbers, they really start to paint a picture that suggests something is seriously wrong here. So first, let's just wrap our heads around the scale here. We're talking about 3.4 million students. That's not just a number. That's 3.4 million individual futures, millions of careers, millions of family hopes just thrown into complete chaos and uncertainty because of what happened with these exams. Okay, now look at this. This is the statistical anomaly that's at the heart of the whole thing. For the NEET exam, the number of students who scored over 700 marks, well, it skyrocketed. It went from just 304 students in 2023 to 2,100 this year. 2,100. That's almost a 7 times increase in top scorers in a single year. Just let that sink in for a second. So, this massive jump forces a pretty basic question. One that the plea asks point blank. Are we supposed to believe that thousands of students just suddenly became academic geniuses overnight? That they all reached a level that only a few hundred managed to hit the year before? Does that sound plausible to you? Or is the simpler explanation actually the truth? The plea basically says, look, maybe it's not some miracle explosion of academic brilliance. Maybe it's just that the system was broken. And success? Well, it could be bought for a price. And they get even more specific. The plea lays out the alleged price tag for this corruption. It claims that leaked exam papers were going for around $36,000. A guaranteed seat, that could run you up to $50,000. These aren't just vague accusations. These are hard numbers suggesting a well-organized marketplace for cheating. Okay, moving on to Section 3, the human cost. Because beyond all the data and the statistics, the plea shifts to what is honestly the most devastating part of this whole mess: the real, personal, human cost for all the students who are caught right in the middle of it. Just read that for a moment. I have spent my teenage years for this dream. It all feels like a waste now. That quote just perfectly captures the feeling of betrayal, of utter despair. Can you imagine dedicating your entire youth to one single goal, sacrificing so much, only to have it feel like it was all for nothing? 'Cause the game was rigged from the start? That's the reality for so many kids right now. And this right here, this gets to the absolute core of the injustice. The plea is arguing that this one system has created two totally different paths. If you come from a wealthy family, your parents' money can potentially buy you that doctor's coat. But for everyone else, your years and years of hard work could end up being completely worthless. It's a system that basically bakes inequality right into its DNA. And think about the long-term damage of that. What are the lessons that an entire generation of students is learning from this? Well, the plea argues they're being taught some pretty terrible things: that the system is rigged, that honesty doesn't actually pay off, and that the very institutions that are supposed to protect fairness simply can't be trusted. Those are incredibly coercive lessons for any country. Okay, let's get to Section 4, 3 demands for justice. Because faced with this absolute crisis of faith, the students aren't just sitting back and being angry. No, they are organized.
They're putting forward clear, what they're calling non-negotiable demands for justice. So what exactly are they asking for?
Their plan is incredibly direct. There's no ambiguity here. Step 1, they want a full independent investigation into the National Testing Agency, the NTA, and they want it monitored by the Supreme Court to make sure it's impartial. Step 2, a complete re-examination for every single student affected to give everyone a fair shot. And finally, Step 3, dismantle and ban the NTA permanently. They see it as completely broken.
And the entire plea really culminates in this one powerful, definitive statement. It's so simple, but it says everything. It's basically a declaration that this generation is refusing to accept a system where their futures can just be bought and sold to the highest bidder. It's a line in the sand. It's them saying enough is enough. And really, that leaves all of us with a final and pretty critical question to think about. What happens when an entire generation feels like the system is rigged against them? Because this plea, it isn't just about one flawed exam. It's about a generation's faith in the very idea of fairness. And the fallout from that, well, that could shape our future in ways we're probably only just beginning to imagine.